Hey everybody, welcome back to Tuckaway Pines. Today's video, I'm going to show you what's been happening in the garden. So today I'm going to be doing a lot of work here in the garden, a lot of harvesting and cleaning up, because tonight we are expecting our very first freeze. It's supposed to get down to low 30s, if not high 20s tonight. So I want to get out here and collect any produce that I can that's going to be susceptible to this freeze that we're supposed to be having. And I figured it would be a perfect time to bring you guys in with me and kind of give you a look as how things are looking for the month of October thus far and kind of what's been happening here on the homestead. So as you can see behind me, the sunflowers are doing fantastic. Got a nice little patch going behind me, all different varieties. Some reds, some burgundies, bright yellows, even some pale yellows. Absolutely love it. And actually, yesterday I noticed I have my Mexican torch sunflower finally opened up. You guys can see that guy right up there. So looks absolutely beautiful. Never grew one before, so I'm really happy about it. And they are just soaking up all the sunshine, and so are the bumblebees. So right next to my sunflowers I did have some wee little Minnesota midget cantaloupes growing. I did have 2 melons, one fizzled out, but one made it to term, if you will. So I did harvest that yesterday, and if you want to see how that turned out, definitely go check out our Instagram, because I definitely did post a few photos of that, because that was very exciting for us, our very first cantaloupe. Here are my tomatoes. They actually are what I gotta come out here and try and harvest as many as I can. I might try and cover them up, but it's supposed to get pretty darn cold tonight, so I don't know if that even is worth the effort. But I do want to harvest as much as I can, and hopefully I can ripen some of them indoors. Behind me here was my pepper patch, but as you can see, don't have many peppers. I've been slowly taking them out because I know it's just going to get colder and colder, and they're not going to really produce much for me at this point anymore. So I just harvested what little peppers I could, amount and size little, but harvested all those and just kind of pulled the plants. I do have one bell pepper plant growing. I have one decent size pepper on there. I'm hoping it'll get a little bit bigger and I can pluck that here today. And I do have my cayenne plant here. So it's doing phenomenal this year. So many peppers on that. I'm just gonna unfortunately have to pick them all and hope that they ripen inside the house. So, because personally, I'm not big on spicy things, but I do like growing my cayennes for medicinal purposes. So that's a big plus for me if I can get a good amount of those guys. This little row here is my eggplants. They produced a couple fruits this year. I was able to harvest a few of them off them, and they kind of stopped for a little while because it did get a little chilly. But now with this heat wave that we've been having past week or so, they really decided to kind of start up again. But again, with this freeze, they are definitely not going to make it. So I'm going to have to say goodbye to these guys for the year. So behind me is where I had all my broccoli and cauliflower planted. That stuff I've just been pulling out, had pulled out a little while ago actually. Hi Waylon. I've had those pulled out for a little while actually because the heat got really hot and they started to bolt. So I've just been feeding everything that I don't need or can't get to right away to the chickens. They've been enjoying it, by the way. But all I have left in this section are my Brussels sprouts, and to be honest, they're not very impressive this year. A lot of bug damage, honestly. Next year, that is something I really need to look further into and try and combat, is the bug damage, especially when it comes to my brassicas. They really get affected by all the cabbage moths and slugs and things like that. So I don't know, maybe look into more companion planting, we'll see. But anyway, all I have is my my Brussels sprouts right here, and I'm thinking of just leaving those for the chickens as well. I know they'll enjoy it, and That way it doesn't go to waste. So, moving on to the cabbage patch. So here's my cabbage patch behind me. I've been harvesting quite a bit of the cabbage. I harvest for us if I have a good head that hasn't been damaged too much. Otherwise, those that are severely damaged, I have been treating the girls, the chickens, with. And I do have quite a couple left in here that I've been just saving, holding off for the girls. So when they go through one, I'll just kind of replace it with another. But then also behind me, I do have some beets and also rutabagas still in the ground. I did a little harvest of half of each. That way I had a little bit to bring in the house, and that way I can keep these out here, not only to keep growing, but also to, you know, have good storage. So, because if I were to pull all those at once, I guarantee you a lot of them would go bad, because we wouldn't go through them either fast enough, and I don't have the proper storage for root vegetables quite yet. So that is my alternative. It's just to kind of keep them in the ground as long as I possibly can. So these guys will stay in the ground overnight. I'll get to them when I'm able to and when I need them. Behind me is my little row of corn, which I will have to get in here and harvest that today as well. See what kind of ears I can get off of it. And my pumpkin patch. The pumpkin plants have really taken over this area, which is totally fine. They're actually growing phenomenally. I'll have to turn the camera around to really show you guys what our pumpkins are looking like right now, but we do have a good amount of sugar pie pumpkins almost ready to get picked, and we do have a jack-o'-lantern. I think it's 2 jack-o'-lanterns, and then we have a Howden pumpkin growing, and they're doing great. And actually, on top of that, we're starting to get more pumpkins. So this plant is just kind of doing its thing, and I'm loving it. And I also want to show you guys a bonus pumpkin plant right behind me, and this is on the outside of the garden. We had this little pumpkin plant start growing and didn't initially intentionally plant it, but it was doing great. Just kind of let it do its thing, and it is sprouting so many little jackby little pumpkins. I must have dropped a seed somewhere, or a bird did, you know, planted it for me or something, but we have so many of these little guys, and I cannot wait till they're ripe and ready to be picked. So last but not least, behind me is my crazy root garden here. I have my carrots planted, which those are going to stay. I'm going to keep those again in the ground as long as possible, at least until I need them. And then I do have some wild celery still growing. I'm going to harvest that because that needs to come out today, otherwise that will freeze. The sun's very bright. And then on this side, I do have my table onions, which I will also have to harvest those, otherwise those will freeze as well. So I do have quite a bit of things to harvest. I have been harvesting my herbs already, so a lot of those have been brought in and are on the dehydrator, ready to be preserved. So yes, a lot of cleaning up to do, and that's pretty much all we've been doing here in the homestead, is just gearing up for winter, cleaning up the yard, kind of buttoning things up, and at least trying to stay ahead of the game, because here in Wisconsin, you never know when that 4-letter word that starts with an S is going to come and visit. So, alright, you guys, I appreciate you guys joining me for this quick October update video, and I hope you guys enjoyed.